Thank you so much for joining me. It is The Juice with Jeanette, and I am Jeanette McLeod. I am a leader with Young Living, and this is just my training call to help you guys out with some practical, hopefully, and tangible tips on how you can be successful in building your Young Living business. So tonight, I want to talk to you about getting into a void that we want to avoid, and that is time management, and centered around time management and the cycle that we seem to take with time management as we build our business. So it's a cautionary tale that I have learned from days gone by, and I'm still learning it. So bear with me, because this is a cycle. This is a terrible and wonderful, glorious cycle. And I want to talk to you about what that looks like. So when we get into time management and growing our Young Living business, in the beginning, it's really easy. We have 5 people signed up. So our time management is a piece of cake. Our time management looks like texting them every once in a while, and it's easy. We know them. They're my friends. They're my family. I see them all the time. Don't worry about it. And I totally get that. And then something happens. We grow. Our organization grows, and we get more people. And then we get into this idea where we have more people to manage. And it becomes not a good thing. And so we've all gotten into this cycle and the time management aspect of it. So when we first start, 90% of our time is spent prospecting and talking to other people and sharing our excitement and going to other people's homes and sharing that excitement and getting them interested into it, into the lifestyle. And then we realize we have more people to care call, more people to follow up with, more people to take care of. And that seems to easily get put on the back burner because we're so busy managing the little time that we have. Because most of us have the time to do a little bit, but then we don't, we still have to be mothers, we still have to be wives, we still may have a part-time or even a full-time job. So the time management becomes very intentional, and we often slip in that cycle. So the one thing that I definitely want to encourage you to do is pay attention to where you are spending your time and take out those distractions. Now, when we start talking to somebody about time management or the business opportunity rather, we start talking to somebody about generating an income with Young Living, and they say, I am far too busy. We encourage them to carve out hours in their week that would make it look doable. So what does your time management look like? Okay, you work here, soccer practice is here, piano's over here, so where can you carve time out? We help them with that time management. It's no different for us. We want to know, when are we being a wife and mother? When are we getting our own personal downtime? When are we getting that time to just read a book or scrapbook or digital scrapbook or do whatever we do to numb our brains? And then where does Young Living fit? And in that Young Living time, what am I really doing with that time? And I'm going to talk to you about why it's so important to be maintaining the idea of prospecting. So here's my beautiful little 3rd grade diorama. Not quite, but if you've watched The Simpsons, you know who I'm impersonating. Time management. We have this crazy little circle that we seem to go through all the time. So we start with prospecting. And the prospecting feels amazing. In the beginning, when we get into this business, it is energizing. It feels so productive. We're changing lives, you guys. And our prospecting is unstoppable. We talk to people in the grocery line. We find opportunities at the playground or at the swimming pool. And we're so tuned in and plugged in by this. And that's prospecting. Then a product of that prospecting is growth. So now our organization grows. We find people, not only people who want to use our product, but we also find people who want to do what we're doing. And that means, oh my gosh, we have a builder or we have a business partner who requires some of our time too. So now all the time that we spent on prospecting is getting eaten up by the people we need to care call, by the person that needs us and needs guidance, and that's okay. And then we get into this, you know, this terrible whirlwind. From growth, we get into management mode. And this can be very detrimental to your business. I've seen it and I've lived it. So what happens is we get so many people that we begin managing it all. So we're not prospecting at all anymore. We're just sitting back and we are managing, and we're on autopilot, and we're managing, oh, I better call my builders and make sure they're doing their job, and I better call my people and make sure they're on ER placing their order. And what really are you doing? And then it gets into a position of micromanagement. So now you're not just encouraging your leaders, you are telling them exactly what to do and exactly what to say, and then you're getting mad at them because they're not doing exactly what you told them to do. And we get into that micromanagement. The only way to break this cycle is to get your butt back up to prospecting. The only way to break the cycle. And I can guarantee you that it goes through this cycle a couple of times. You go, you know what, I'm back in the game, I'm booking sessions, I'm hot to trot, this is awesome, and you're gonna be prospecting like crazy, and then you're gonna grow and you're like, I got so many more people and more people are gonna do this, and then you're gonna get into management mode, and then you're gonna kick your own ass again. Sorry for my language. So we become managers, and then when we become managers, we end up killing our business. So, you know, just be very cautious of that, because when we get into the management and micromanagement, because of the growth, because of the prospecting and all our hard work, then our business actually inevitably becomes stagnant. And I don't know if you know the term, shit runs downhill. It's this, if that, as soon as you guys see me not doing anything, not inviting people into the groups, not going out and doing my sessions, you're gonna go on autopilot. And guess what your people are gonna do? They're gonna go on autopilot. So if they see us on autopilot, say you're a gold and you're on autopilot, your executives are going on autopilot at executive or even at senior star. So just get back to prospecting. And when you get back into prospecting, you stay there in that mode. Who can I introduce today? Who can I reach out to today? How can I be resourceful? And how am I going to find somebody new? Then you're going to keep that momentum growing. You're never going to get stagnant. And you know what? What I want to share with you about that is don't beat yourself up if you should have made that care call 2 days ago. We're all doing our best, and the most important part of this cycle is the prospecting. The reason we got started was to introduce people to our product. So that component cannot be stopped, or your business will not grow. The next slide I want to show you here is income producing activities. So at the end of the day, what does an income producing activity look like? That's kind of what we want to know. So an income producing activity or an IPA, just keep reminding yourself that if you want to get the pay of a business, if you want to get paid like a business, you must treat this like a business. You want to get paid like a hobby, treat it like a hobby. The only activity that makes you money is income producing activity. And Brian Carruthers, the author of Building an Empire, says the only true income producing activity, the only true income producing activity is by recruiting people. If you are not talking to a new prospect, you are not doing an income producing activity. So I think that that's really interesting. I think it's very accurate. It's the only thing we get paid on is having people in our organization, in our business, buying products and doing what we're doing and sharing. It's the only way we get paid. However, I might branch that out and say, like in our business, follow-up is very important. That's why people are going to get product knowledge, where they place another order, become a loyal customer of yours. So I think a care call is income producing, following up with somebody you've already introduced. And of course, your leaders who are duplicating you are generating an income. So give yourself some grace there. Just because you're not talking to somebody new doesn't mean you're being lazy or you're not doing an IPA. But just keep in mind that there's what Brian Carruthers judges it as. If you're not introducing, then you're not doing an income producing activity. So the bottom line here is the more prospects, the more people you talk to, the more likely you are to find good recruits. And the more you practice at it, the more effective you're going to be, period. The more you do something, the more effective you are at it. And that's just the name of the game. So my example for you about the more prospects you talk to, and this is what your time, as far as time management goes into, this is what you want your time to be taken up with, okay? I don't know if you were looking at me saying your time should be spent, 20% of it making your care calls, 10% making your goal sheet. No, that's not what I'm getting at with time management. Your time needs to be spent plain and simple on prospecting and making sure your members are loyal, educated, and up to speed. So the more you practice, the better, and the more people you invite, the more likely you are to have people follow you, get excited, and be recruited. Now, the example of that is last night, we had an event in Red Deer, and there were a number of us leaders that put it together, and I invited 13 people, 13 brand new prospects that I have not introduced to Young Living, and some of them I've known for 2 years, 3 years, and I've not introduced them or invited them. So I invited, between Kevin and I, we invited 13 people. 4 came. Pile backed out for sure, but 4 showed up. Another leader, friend of mine, invited 19 people and 1 person came. Think about those statistics, you guys. Does that say anything to you about the importance of inviting? We just have to, if you want to be successful, don't invite 1 person and hang all your hopes and dreams on that 1 person. Your job, your time needs to be spent on inviting those people to take a look at the product. Product first. I encourage product first because usually that's what 99.9% of the people want to know is, what do you have, what does it do, and what will work for me? That's what they want to know. So here we've got the time broken down. This is what a lot of them being big time, big wig, high income earners section their time. This is how they're spending their time management. Are they scouring Facebook? No, distraction. Are they, writing love notes, letters to their people? No, not likely, distraction. Even so much having a conversation with Chelsea when she's come back from Diamond Retreat, newsletters, bit of a distraction. Who is actually answering your newsletters? Who's actually reading them? The people that aren't engaged on our product pages, the people that aren't engaged enough to text you and ask you what to do with purification. So is that income producing? Is that time well spent? Possibly not. Possibly not. So here, let's look. 25% in each quadrant. We have 25% contacting my own new prospects. So you're a leader. You've got a team. You're spending a quarter of your time contacting your own new recruits, so not people that aren't in yet. 25% is following up with the people you've already recruited. 25% is calling your team to promote something and inspire action. So guys, guess what? We've got a make and take happening next Wednesday. I'd love for you to come. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be talking about stuff that you want to hear about. And then the other 25% is doing a 3-way call for your team. So your person says, I have somebody who's kind of interested in the business, but I don't really know what to do from here. Get them on a 3-way call. A quarter of your time should be spent helping your people recruit people. All income producing, but this is the way your time should be spent. Lindsay Gramont is a Royal Crown Diamond out of Texas, and she has an 80% rule. So 80% of her time is spent recruiting. 80% at Royal Crown Diamond is spent recruiting. I would say that would be contacting her own new prospects, following up with her existing prospects, and likely calling her team and promoting. That's the 75% right there. And then the other 20%, she has 18%, well, I guess, for following up, and the 1% for putting out fires. So leave that 1%, 5% maybe, 10% perhaps, to follow up with your people. Check in. Do you have any questions? How are things going? But the bulk of your time is really spent recruiting. And I myself have looked at maybe possible trade shows myself and keep recruiting, keep meeting people, keep getting out there into the community and seeing who haven't I talked to yet. Is an income producing activity me powwowing with my cross lines? No, it is not. It just isn't. Is it fun? Absolutely. Do I love it? I do. I just do. Is it income producing? No, it sure isn't. So be wary of your time. Your time is precious, you guys. Adam Green always talks about time is our only limited commodity. Once you spend it, you never get it back. So be cautious and guarded with your time. So here we've got investing in the training, time management, grow yourself, get a life or a business coach, 21 days of prayer, Monique McLean on youinfuse.com. You can look that up, the 21 days of prayer. And then just ultimately investing in yourself and leaving room in your time, in your week, in your day for your growth and development. So that's what time management really looks like for me, is that getting serious about asking new people to take a look and not being afraid of that, and just digging in and doing it. Because guys, we have all started that way. And when we lose it and we get into that circle of, well, I've grown, I've got so many people, now I have to manage, and then you sink into that micromanage. We've all done that. I know you know what I'm talking about. The only way to get out of that is to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and get back to prospecting. So my hope for you is that you don't take nearly as long as I did to get out of that. So keep that on your brain. Keep that on the forefront of your brain. If you're a star or a senior star or an executive, then you can get yourself out of that rut so much faster than I learned to. So that's what I encourage you to do, is just keep that on your radar, keep prospecting. Are you spending 80% of your time talking to new people, inviting new people in? Are you spending 50% of your time doing that and 25% following up with the members you've already got? So, and don't discredit, so I'm running out of time here, don't discredit what make and takes and other events look like, because the more you product educate your people, the more income producing that will be, the more likely they'll be to share and more happy they will be. So play around with the idea of income producing, but don't get distracted. Make sure you stay focused on what is really income producing and what isn't. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm out of time. I am Jeanette McLeod, a leader with Young Living. So thank you for joining me, and I hope this helped you. Have a great night.